Maris Ellington lived for the ocean. It was her sanctuary, her place of solace and inspiration. From a young girl, she felt a connection to the sea. The waves, the sand, the endless horizon, they all called to her. She dedicated her life to marine animals, immersing herself in their world and learning everything she could about them. Her passion led her to work at Ocean Gate Park, a renowned marine park known for its dedication to marine conservation. It was there she met them. The orcas, the magnificent giants of the sea. Maris formed a special bond with these majestic creatures, a bond that went beyond mere training. She spent countless hours with them, understanding their behaviors, their moods, and their unique personalities. She trained them, played with them, and learned their ways. Each interaction deepened their connection. The orcas, particularly a large male named Titan, responded to her with what seemed like genuine affection and trust. Her connection with Titan was profound, almost as if they could understand each other's thoughts. It was the kind of bond that trainers dream of, a rare and beautiful relationship. It was a bond built on trust, respect, and a shared love for the ocean, a love that was evident in every interaction. But the ocean, like any force of nature, can be unpredictable, it can be unforgiving, and it demands respect. Maris, despite her deep understanding of the animals, was treading a dangerous path. She knew the risks, but was driven by her passion. The orcas were wild animals, after all, with instincts and behaviors that could never be fully tamed. Their immense size and power commanded respect, and a healthy dose of fear, reminding Maris of the delicate balance she walked every day. The day began like any other at Ocean Gate Park. Tourists poured in, excited to witness the spectacle of the orcas. The air buzzed with anticipation. Children pointed, their faces alight with wonder. The sun beat down on the park, the air thick with the smell of salt and chlorine. Maris was preparing for the afternoon show. Her smile, as always, was bright and infectious. She moved with an energy that inspired everyone around her. She checked the equipment. She went over the routine with her fellow trainers. Everything was in place, or so it seemed. The show began with the usual fanfare. Upbeat music filled the air. The crowd roared with delight as the orcas surged through the water. Maris, a picture of confidence and grace, directed Titan and the other orcas through their paces. Then, in a horrifying instant, everything changed. It was during a complex maneuver. Titan, usually so responsive, seemed to hesitate. He lagged behind the other orcas. A ripple of unease passed through the crowd. The music, once joyous, now felt discordant, out of sync with the sudden tension. Maris, ever the professional, maintained her composure. She adjusted the routine, adapting to Titan's unexpected behavior. She tried to coax him back into position, but something was wrong. Titan was becoming agitated. His movements, once graceful and fluid, became erratic, almost frantic. In a split second, Titan lunged. He slammed into Maris with the full force of his immense weight. The crowd gasped. A collective shriek echoed around the stadium. The water, once crystal clear, turned crimson. Maris disappeared beneath the surface, dragged down by the force of the impact. The tragedy sent shockwaves around the world, but within the close-knit community of marine park trainers and animal rights activists, the incident came as a grim confirmation of their worst fears. For years, they had been sounding the alarm about the dangers of keeping orcas in captivity. They argued that confining these intelligent and social animals to tanks was inherently cruel. It led to stress, aggression, and unpredictable behavior. Reports of orcas lashing out at trainers, often with tragic consequences, were not uncommon. Just a year before Maris's death, a trainer at another marine park was killed by an orca during a show. The incident sparked outrage and calls for stricter regulations, but the industry, driven by profit and a reluctance to acknowledge the inherent risks, resisted meaningful change. The world watched in horror as the news of Maris Ellington's death spread like wildfire. The images, captured on countless smartphones, were impossible to ignore. The once cheery spectacle of the Orca show had transformed into a scene of unimaginable tragedy. Public outcry was immediate and fierce. Social media platforms were flooded with messages of grief, anger, and disbelief. Animal rights organizations, long critical of the captivity industry, saw a surge in support. Protests erupted outside Ocean Gate Park and other marine parks around the world. The public, once largely unaware of the dark side of orca captivity, was now forced to confront the uncomfortable reality. These majestic creatures, meant to roam free in the vast expanse of the ocean, were being confined to concrete tanks, their spirits broken, their instincts warped by years of captivity. Maris Ellington's death was a stark reminder of the power and unpredictability of nature. It was a tragedy that cast a long shadow over the world of marine parks and beyond. Maris, a woman who had dedicated her life to the ocean and its creatures, became a symbol of the complex and often fraught relationship between humans and the natural world. In the aftermath of her death, colleagues and friends remembered her infectious enthusiasm, her unwavering dedication, and her deep love for the orcas. They spoke of her gentle touch, her ability to connect with the animals on a level few could ever hope to achieve. But amidst the grief and tributes, a crucial question lingered. Was Maris's death a tragic accident, an unfortunate consequence of working with wild animals? Or was it a preventable tragedy, the result of an industry that had prioritized profit over the well-being of both animals and trainers? The impact of Maris's death was undeniable. It sent shockwaves through the community and beyond, touching the hearts of many who had never even met her. The public, once enchanted by the spectacle of performing orcas, began to question the ethics of keeping these highly intelligent and social animals in captivity. The conversations that had been simmering for years suddenly boiled over. The tide of public opinion was turning, and the once thriving marine park industry found itself facing a wave of scrutiny and criticism it could no longer ignore. Attendance numbers began to drop, and the financial impact was immediate. In the wake of the tragedy, Ocean Gate Park announced the indefinite suspension of all orca shows. This decision was seen as a necessary step, but for many it was too little, too late. It pledged to conduct a thorough review of its safety protocols and animal care practices. The park's management promised transparency and accountability moving forward. Other marine parks followed suit, issuing statements expressing their condolences and outlining their own safety measures. They aimed to reassure the public that they were taking the matter seriously, but for many, these gestures rang hollow. The promises made by the industry were met with skepticism and distrust. The industry, they argued, was merely engaging in damage control, trying to salvage its reputation and protect its profits. Critics demanded more substantial changes. The calls for more radical change, a complete phase-out of orca captivity and a return to focusing on conservation and education, grew louder. The movement for orca freedom gained momentum, pushing for a future where these majestic creatures could live in their natural habitats. The future of orcas in captivity hangs in the balance, teetering on the edge of a significant transformation. The tragedy of Maris Ellington's death has forced a long-overdue conversation about our relationship with these magnificent creatures, sparking a global debate. It has exposed the ethical complexities of keeping intelligent and social animals in confined environments for human entertainment, raising questions about morality and compassion. The debate is likely to continue, with passionate voices on both sides making compelling arguments. On one side, the marine park industry argues that their facilities provide valuable educational opportunities, contributing to research and conservation efforts and fostering a connection between humans and marine life. They maintain that they can provide a safe and enriching environment for their animals, ensuring their well-being and longevity. On the other side, animal rights activists and many scientists contend that the inherent cruelty of captivity cannot be ignored, emphasizing the need for ethical treatment. They point to the documented evidence of stress, aggression, and psychological damage inflicted on orcas in confined spaces, highlighting the detrimental effects of captivity. They advocate for a future where these animals are no longer confined to concrete tanks, but instead allowed to live out their days in protected ocean sanctuaries, where they can thrive in a more natural environment. The death of Maris Ellington, a tragedy that unfolded before the eyes of the world, serves as a stark reminder of the high cost of our fascination with captive wildlife, urging us to rethink our practices. It compels us to confront uncomfortable questions about our responsibility to these animals and the future of our relationship with the natural world, pushing us to consider more humane alternatives.